Hi everyone and welcome back to SMLtalk. Hope you're all doing well and enjoyed the last episode with SML founder Tom Harpin. A great conversation and I thought a great way to mark episode 3 of the series by getting the big boss on. I hope you all enjoyed it because I know I did. Just letting you know, we had some unfortunate news the other day. Is that this podcast studio is no longer doing the podcast. So we are going to lose this space, which is a great shame because it's a brilliant little studio. And obviously we've got loads of future episodes lined up. So we are looking for another space and we are still hopeful that we can still get you an episode out once a month. As like I said, we've got some brilliant guests that we want to have some conversations with. So yeah, not great. But as always, I'm your host, Tom Phipps. Let's get in to episode 4. This month's guest is someone who has been part of the SML journey since the very beginning and continues to play a huge role within our subsidence team. Disclaimer, obviously a lot of our episodes have been quite subsidence heavy at the moment. That is because it is sort of a hot topic at the moment and obviously it's a massive part of SML Group and the business. But in the future we have got planned some different guests from different industries. But at the moment, subsidence is a hot topic and something that we like informing our audience about, and they're being really well received. So we're continuing to get these episodes out and informing more people about subsidence and sort of what our teams do as well. So like I mentioned, today's guest is someone that's a big part of SML Subsidence and the teams, more on the boots on the ground side of things. So I'd like to introduce today's guest.
Afternoon, Tom. I'm Errol Kincarr. I'm the Survey Manager of SML Subsidence in the SML Group.
Oh, amazing, yeah. So thank you for joining today, Errol. Like I mentioned, it's another subsidence episode,
Yep.
But we've obviously had previous guests that have talked about more about subsidence and the actual sort of the data behind it and the reasoning for it happening and about trees, soils and more the technical side of things.
Yep.
But I thought today's episode would be great to get you on as our survey manager for SML Subsidence and talk more about sort of like the day in the life of a subsidence surveyor, sort of like what you experience on site. Obviously, you look after a team. What are they all sort of going through and maybe the challenges and the things of that as well. So you're happy to chat through some stuff?
Yeah, happily.
Amazing. So let's sort of start with SML Subsidence and the team. So in your role as survey manager, what are your sort of day-to-day goings?
So part of my job mainly is the quality of the stuff coming in from the road.
Yeah.
So the team I kind of manages the issuing side. So what they do is any surveys that come in off the road, they have to make sure obviously the readings look as they should. Is the movement going in the right direction? Are all the points on the property correct? And then basically create that into a report and send it off to the client.
Okay, so obviously you've got a team, so I think we've got over 20 surveyors now within...
There's roughly about just over 30 surveyors.
Oh, wow. And so obviously we cover not just one particular part, that's nationwide coverage as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So where, at the moment, where are our surveyors busiest? Obviously people who sort of know about subsidence will probably be able to guess where we're seeing the most...
Well, London, like I say, is always one of the busiest places,
yeah.
Just because obviously it's built on clay. A lot more houses in that area, so we've got multiple surveyors that work around the London area, so it's always going to be one of our busiest patches. We're seeing more northerly, kind of Leeds, Manchester, that kind of area. We've got quite a bit going on up there. So it kind of varies depending on the weather to where you start seeing these claims coming in. Obviously some of you Scotland, Wales, don't seem to get as much there, but when they do come in, they all seem to come in at the same time.
Yeah. That's probably another thing as obviously a big part of what you're saying with these sort of surveyors it's obviously a lot of it's weather dependent.
Yeah.
But you've got to be prepared for everything's like recruitment as well to meet the demand of
recruitment's always ongoing.
Yeah. And I know you've got a massive part in that sort of recruitment.
Yeah.
And obviously
it's a daily task.
Yeah, obviously getting surveyors up to speed.
Yeah.
Giving them the correct training so when they do go out on site, they are well equipped to being able to deliver to the SML Subsidence standard.
Yeah, I mean the training is kind of always ongoing.
Yeah.
So when we kind of train them when they first come in, is get them with the basics of how they do the surveys, understanding what it is they're actually looking at, and then as time goes on, we give them more information to kind of understand what it is that they're doing and why they're doing it, and the importance of the survey itself.
So obviously that's a range of things. Obviously, subsidence monitoring is quite a broad term, but we break that down into like different specific surveys, haven't we? So we've got. So what if you want to expand on that a bit? What sort of surveys have you obviously got?
So
targets
normally when it
like?
comes to obviously our team, what they generally do is we do level monitoring, which is the lower foundation monitoring of a property. You've got crack monitoring, which is normally the individual cracks that you kind of got in the house or outside the house. We do floor contours, which is we do a floor survey on the house. So if they feel the floor is dropping in a certain way, we'll monitor that floor to see where it's dropping. We do verticality surveys. So if they feel a wall is bowing out or in, we kind of check to see how that's actually happening and where, so they can kind of look at that and go, see what's happening. You've got target monitoring, which is, you can use it for levels, but you find that more on like building sites when they're doing basement surveys, that kind of thing. They use it for that because it gives them a lot more wide range of information.
Okay. What's your favourite survey to carry out, or can you not really pick one?
That's a hard question, to be fair. I enjoy
like them all, love them all.
I enjoy most of the surveys that we do.
Yeah.
I'd say I always loved doing the video surveys that we do on properties, where you actually go in and you do the survey, you video it as if you kind of you've got an engineer standing near you, and you're telling them a story about that property, and then they can kind of look at it and make an informed decision of what they think needs to happen next.
Yeah. So obviously you can see when we go on this wide angle that we have got a little prop today. Obviously this beauty here. For people that don't know, what is that?
That is a digital optical level.
Okay.
So when you look through it, it is like looking through a binocular. It sees whatever it is you're looking at. That takes a height and distance of a barcode stave that we put on the building to show what the movement is.
Okay. So that sort of would be your sort of go-to equipment for that sort of...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's our everyday bit of equipment. You treasure that with your life.
So when you're sort of like... when you're going to these properties or these sites and you're carrying out the surveys, what sort of would you say the biggest challenges for like the team or yourself when you're attending these sort of first visits?
So depending on who you are, it could be a dog. Policyholders, obviously, they can kind of get funny when you turn up because they don't understand why you're there, what the process is, so you just have to kind of explain. Cars being parked in places where they weren't before, that changes the whole kind of aspect of when you're doing your survey. You could turn up for a job where you've got a couple of points across the front of a house, somebody parks a car there, that changes the whole dynamic of that job. So things like that, bushes, rose bushes, trees, anything that can kind of grow in an area where you originally fitted your stations can cause you problems.
Yeah. Obviously, you're saying about like the things like the cars.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're sort of controllable to a sense of like, but saying like challenges of we've spoke about in previous episodes, especially the one with Mike about upfront property data. Obviously, a car's nothing to do with the property, but upfront property data like history, any previous issues that might have happened. As a surveyor going out on site, the more information you have on a property gives you...
It helps us
backstory.
Because obviously when we get our instructions, we get a site sketch of where they initially want the points being fitted. They may put on there where the area of damage is. But if they don't put anything more than that, then we're kind of shooting in the dark a little bit because we go to a property and in some cases the damage isn't always visible. So we have to kind of either speak to the policyholder, get a bit of background from them, for them to kind of give us an indication of where that information is, or we just have to make an informed decision and set the job up best to our ability and go back and get as much information as we can that way.
I can imagine as well when you said about a lot of questions about sort of why you're here, what you're doing, and obviously I keep saying in previous episodes, but we've always talked about the communication with the policyholder, of them knowing exactly what you doing, or well, Errol's just turned up at my house. What he's with this fancy bit of equipment? What was he doing here? And I bet that's happened quite a lot. Of like, who are you and what you're doing here? It's like, but that clear communication with the policyholder is so important, isn't it? About understanding why you're actually there, and you're there to help at the end of the day, aren't you?
Well, and that's it. I mean, sometimes if there's a lot going on the claim, so you've got CCTV, you've got SI, you've got monitoring, sometimes it does get a bit confusing for the policyholder because they could have a few visits being booked in the same week, and they then get confused which one they're actually expecting. So when we turn up, you're like, oh, I've come to do monitoring. Oh, you're not coming to the drains? No, that's a different division. So you do get that kind of miscommunication there.
Yeah. But in terms of actual the jobs themselves, is it, so like say if your day, so say talk us through like a day in your life of a full day out on site. Obviously you do some bits in the office as well to help with the admin side of things.
Yeah.
But like a full day from the minute you wake up, is it numerous visits in one day, or is it one property?
Depending on where you're going. We normally say we do about 7 jobs a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's best case scenario. We can do more, just depends on where you're going. So like in London, because the jobs are quite close together, you could probably do 10 jobs in a day.
Yeah.
But if you've got to drive to Wales, you could probably do about 3 jobs in a day. So obviously we have to take that into account. So our efficiency is based on how many jobs we can get in around. That works nicely in like a circle in a sense.
Yeah.
So if I got a schedule, I could see 7 jobs, and there could be like 20 minutes between each job, but each job could take anything up to 15 to an hour. It depends on the size of the building and what you're actually doing there.
Yeah. No, I remember when, before I went to uni, I think maybe 7 years, I obviously worked at SML, and when we were just doing like sort of subs monitoring before we started with the SML group and expanded our services, and one of my roles was on Bing Maps planning the routes, and like the surveyors used to love it when I used to find it quite satisfying when you put in all the addresses in Bing Maps and it's like one big circle and you're like, oh, what a dream.
It was great because you'd sit there and you look at it and you go, oh yeah, I've got all these jobs in this perfect circle. You start ringing them up and the first person you ring up, I can't do that. Great. It just kills the whole round.
Yeah. But I think a lot of it's like, it's probably like just being like adaptable as well, isn't it? As a surveyor, it's on site, even when you're turning, something might be planned or confirmed.
You have to adapt to every situation because I look at it working out on the road, anything can happen during the day. So when I go out, I just think to myself, I'll take the day as it comes because at the end of the day, there could be an accident on the road. It's unexpected. There could be a road closed. Somebody could not be in. Anything can happen. So I'll just take the day as it comes.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And probably, obviously, a lot of surveyors and across different industries and probably resonate with that quite a lot of attending site. Like say if there's an accident on the M1 and you're delayed 2 hours, it's completely out of your control.
Exactly.
And that's probably the good mentality to have, isn't it? Of
don't get me wrong,
control the controllables. If something happens, obviously you might be, oh God, I feel like I'm letting this person down by not getting to the visit at that proposed time. But yeah, you can't really help that, can you?
You can't help it. And I just think to myself, well, yeah, don't get me wrong, I get frustrated and you do get angry. And by the end of the day, you're probably like seething because you think to yourself, that took longer than it should have done. But at the end of the day, like you say, it's out of your control. You can't help that. So in some respects, there's no point in letting it ruin your day. Yeah. You just got to get on with it the best you can.
And that's probably, if you can't attend that first visit, you'll make sure that
person knows.
They know, and there's a priority to make sure you get that visit done.
Exactly.
Yeah. So talking about, we said about the team, I think we've got a big team of technicians now all over the UK. Obviously, you've got a big part in sort of the training and getting them up to speed. What are sort of your biggest things that you sort of like home into the teams of?
Quality.
Yeah,
it's quality. When I do the training, obviously I don't train as much as I used to. I've got a couple of guys and I've got other surveyors that do that. But one of my main things is quality over speed. Don't go on site rushing the job because that's where mistakes get made. Get the quality there first, take your time, and then kind of your speed comes with that. Yeah. Understand what it is you're doing first.
Yeah, and I think that's a good motto to have, isn't it? It was quality over quantity. So what in terms of I've seen you training when people come to our head office. First thing you do is obviously you got to fill in the usual forms.
Lovely paperwork.
Yeah. So but then I also see you like being obviously practical. I think being the practical learning, for me, especially is the best way of taking someone on site, showing them how to do it.
Because obviously, I've done it in the office, and a lot of people will always say, "I get it, but I need to go and see it."
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you do need to go on site and see it for yourself, because every job you go to has a slight difference. And yeah, I could stand outside the office all day going, "This is how you do it." But it's the same building.
Yeah.
You see, you need to go and see multiple different buildings for you to understand what can happen.
Yeah, and I think that's the same with loads of different parts in the business with the SML group. Like, I think like when you join, even obviously I don't go out on site or anything. Obviously, I work in the marketing, but even having those days on site and experiencing gives you a better understanding of the services we offer. And
well, since I've been here, I've worked on the railway side, I've done the drainage side, I've looked at the SI side, I've done some of the land surveying side, and I like monitoring.
Monitoring's your go-to.
Yeah.
So would you say, like, what is your favourite part of the job role? Is it the
It's meeting
travelling
people.
or meeting people?
Yeah, the travelling I love, because I love being out on the road.
Yeah.
But meeting people, and I look at it, everybody's got a different story.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of interesting people out there that you can talk to. And some people just want to talk. So it's just nice kind of when you're on site and you find that person and they want to talk. It's just nice.
Yeah. Obviously, you've said that, we've mentioned that before about you like getting the story and understanding the person, of just not just turning up to carry out the survey.
Yeah.
You want to bring I
look at it, I'm invested in that part of the job, because
for sure.
I look at it in this industry and what we do. A house is one of the biggest purchases anybody's really going to make, and that's their life. Yeah. So if we can help them and put them at ease in some way, I know I've done my job at that point. When I walk away from that job and I've given them a good conversation, I've showed them some respect, I've done my job to the best of my ability, I look at it, I'm happy at that point.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of I don't know, have you had bad experiences of when you've been to properties or and what would you say? Would you say it is more in that being the biggest one, not informed about why you're there and what you're carrying out, or different things?
You actually find it's just random. Normally, in some of the bad experiences I've had, it's random things. It's things that have got nothing to do with the actual job itself.
Okay.
It's just random people who've got nothing to do with it, but seem to just want to see you and just think to yourself, yeah, I'm going to have a go at you.
Just caught them at the wrong time, see in the firing line.
Well, I'd say one I had was in Wales, where we had a house, but you had to go across somebody else's drive.
Oh, okay.
So it's a shared drive. And they didn't warn me that he had an ASBO and he was a nightmare.
Okay.
So I opened the gate to the yard, pulled my van round, went back to the van, and he came out and really got into my face about it.
Oh, God.
And obviously I tried not to react the best I could, and then I was like, look, I'm going.
Yeah, yeah.
And he was in my face. And I thought, did I do something wrong? So I rang the surveyor that went last. He was like, oh, that guy. Yeah, I had a problem with that guy. I was like, oh, okay.
Thanks for letting me know.
Yeah. So then I carried on driving. I'm like, nah, I must have done something wrong. So I rang the policyholder I went to. I said, your neighbour. Oh, what do you do now? Oh, what do you mean, what do you do now?
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, he's got an ASBO. Whereas the postman won't even go to his house. And I'm like, right.
And you didn't know anything about that?
No.
Oh, God. That's like when we said about property data. That should have been on the it should have been on the file.
Key information that you'd love to know.
Sure.
I did a job once when I walked into a house doing a survey for like the mortgage side. Walked in, got the keys from the estate agent. Anything I need to know? No, you're fine. No alarm on the property. That's fine. Open one of the bedroom doors. Rottweiler sitting on the bed.
Oh,
and I'm like, come on.
That would honestly be my biggest fear. I was actually in the shop the other day, and there was a dog off the lead in this little co-op, massive like staffy.
Yeah.
And I don't like big dogs. I'm a small dog kind of guy, and I was like, why is it not on the lead? And I was scared to come in the shop, and it ran up to me, and when your legs go like weak, it ran up to me. And I went, oh my! And the guy was like, oh, he's friendly. I'm like, honestly, put your dog on a lead, because I'm literally like, my legs are shaking. And
that's it.
I got home and I was like, it just jumped up on me. I was like, that was another thing when I went. So been on site a few times and to do some monitoring, and there was like a big gate, and it's in my back of my head. I'm like, if I see a gate, I know there's going to be some sort of animal.
Yeah.
These two Alsatians obviously I think 18, just turned 18, and was like an assistant. And I was like, I can't get out of the car. I was sat in the car whilst he was doing the monitoring. I was so scared of these dogs. But I can imagine that's quite a big one, isn't it?
Some people, and that's the thing, not everybody likes dogs. I mean,
Yeah.
I love dogs.
Yeah, yeah.
I did a job in Guernsey where I had to go to the neighbour's garden, and her dog was huge. And I was like, when he stood on his back legs, he's taller than me.
Oh, God.
And I walked in and I was like, can you put your dog away? And she's like, hey, he's fine. I'm like, you sure? She's like, yeah, he's a pup. I'm like, he's a pup? He's massive. This dog would just follow me around and want to play ball.
Yeah.
All while I was doing the levelling.
Big softy.
Yeah.
But so you've worked on worked on all sorts of projects for the monitoring. You worked on some not cool projects, but you've worked on some pretty interesting ones, haven't you?
Yeah, I'd say one of the most interesting ones that always springs to mind was one in Sheffield where we did an eco house where it had a well next to it. And they believe the well, every time it filled up, was actually putting more pressure on the building.
Okay.
And it was actually raising the building to the point it's cracking. So they asked for well testing, which they got a specialised company in to do that.
Yeah.
And then he asked us, could we do specialised 24-hour monitoring? So we had to come up with a plan of how we'd actually do that. So me and one of the lead surveyors that I work with, me and him, well, I volunteered him to actually do it. But I said, I'll do the night shift, you do the day shift. I had the easy job. He had to monitor it every 15 minutes while they did the well testing. And it actually showed, while he was doing the monitoring, how much the building went up by 20 mil when they actually pressure tested this well. And then obviously when they released the pressure, it went back down. And obviously I had to monitor it overnight to see if it actually moved any more, just generally.
Yeah.
A bit of movement here and there.
But not as much as...
No, but it proved the theory that they were looking for is that well was the problem.
Oh, interesting.
And in the end, I think they actually filled the well.
I think I've actually, because obviously I'm always bugging the people out on sites for photos.
Yeah.
I think I've actually got a few photos. I think you sent them
Yeah.
for our SML Group Photo of the Month competition. So if I can, I'll attach some videos during this podcast of because obviously I've seen some. It's a really cool.
It's a
really
brilliant,
cool
brilliant
job, isn't it? Yeah.
But it also helped serve another purpose, is proving that we can level in the dark.
Mm.
Because obviously that was one of the things we always had. That was also another challenge.
Yeah.
Is the minute you get to the winter time, daylight goes, you struggle, and we were trying to find something that would actually work well, and we found this brilliant light which worked perfectly, and that job proved it.
No, because I remember when we've done some jobs. I think there was one in Belfast.
Yes.
Which was a night job, and like I said, if you can, in those winter months where there's not much daylight at all, obviously it's a surveyor's dream at the moment. Well, not right now because it's tipping down rain. But like when we've had that nice weather, you can. And I know literally, I'm talking from all the surveyors across geospatial, our full scope of SML Group surveyors. It seems to be an early rise. Everyone loves getting to the sites early because the sunlight, and I know you do as well. But in winter, when it's pitch black at 8 a.m, you've got to find ways to get all your visits in, haven't you?
Exactly, and obviously, problem you have is in certain places it gets darker quicker than others.
Yeah.
And we just want to go out and get the job done. Yeah. And we don't want to let people down, so we don't want to be sitting ringing up going, we can't do the job because we've got no daylight. Yeah. So we try and find ways to kind of make that work.
Obviously, how long have you been doing the monitoring side of things now? Roughly?
14 years.
14 years. So over those 14 years, have you... I was going to say it's a groundbreaking bit of technology to do some surveying in the dark. Obviously, like you say, it's brilliant that we can do that.
Yeah.
Have you seen technology from a subsidence monitoring side of things develop, or has it always been sort of the same sort of practices that everyone follows? Obviously, you've got remote monitoring and that side of things, which is a little bit different.
Yeah.
But have you seen sort of the same traditional methods of subsidence monitoring over that 14 years stay the same, or has there been ways to get even more accurate?
The traditional method seems to be the best method out there. Mm-hmm. Obviously, using that equipment, that's just kind of come along from the old dumpy levels that were there, which were more analog. Yeah. So obviously, doing it digital is a bit more accurate at the end of the day. There's other equipment out there, like your total stations and some of your other levels, are even more accurate than that level. Yeah. So the technology has moved on a hell of a lot. The process of how we do it is pretty much still the same. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just more people doing it.
Yes, basically.
But that's it's important, isn't it? We've always spoke about sort of. That's why I thought it was great to have you on the podcast today, because we've had obviously your boots on the ground. You're a surveyor that's going out on site and with the team and experiencing what these policyholders and the homeowners are like and the day to day. Are you seeing that still getting busier and busier as well, or?
Yeah, we are still getting busier. I mean, like I say, recruitment's a daily thing.
Yeah.
So, we're always looking at areas where we need more people. So I'm currently doing that at the minute.
Oh, nice. You're a small part of the journey, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're on the ground carrying out the subsidence monitoring, which
Yeah.
at the end of the day is a small part of the bigger picture, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
you've got your ARB services, obviously SML Subsidence. We are not just subsidence monitoring. We've got geotechnical. We've got the full shabam, you could say. So,
Yeah, literally.
So when you're going, you're getting that data,
Yeah.
and you're giving the data to the decision makers,
Exactly.
which is obviously still it's so important,
Yeah.
because the data you're providing is giving them the information to make those decisions.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I do think it is really important to understand that, isn't it? That we've mentioned it before. I know I keep saying we've mentioned it before, but everyone's got their part to play in the
Yes.
journey.
They do.
And making sure everyone communicates with one another and everything's sort of done properly. Yeah, it's so important, isn't it?
No, of course it is. I mean, like you say, communication is key.
Yeah.
And as long as we communicate right when we're on site, it helps the process move smoothly going forward. And like I say, when we do get asked questions, we then pass them on to the person that can answer that question.
Yeah.
We don't just leave them sitting there kind of scratching their heads going, well, that's not really helped. We'll go, no, speak to this person, speak to your consultant, speak to your insurance company. They may be able to kind of give you a bit more information.
Well, I've really enjoyed chatting today. It's been something different to the episodes that we've had previously, chatting about sort of day in the life of, and I think I'd say a lot of people, surveyors across the UK, probably resonate with a lot that you're saying.
I hope so.
So thank you for coming on.
It's been a pleasure.
We'll say like you're really busy at the moment, but yeah, keep up the great work that you and the SML Subsidence team are doing.
No, we're always here to help.
Thank you for watching and listening episode 4 of SML Talk with Errol. Really hope you enjoyed it. It was something a bit different this month, but I really enjoyed the conversation with Errol, and it was nice getting the perspective of someone that's going out and carrying out these jobs and a boot on the ground. So thank you to Errol for coming on. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also follow us across our socials and YouTube. As I mentioned in the introduction, we might have a different setup next month. We're hopeful that we can still get out one episode a month, but I will let you know across the socials if anything changes. But thank you very much.